goes down to that, the middle of those five rights, the third one, which is sort of like, how do you define success? And what I've noticed in my work is that very often we talk at a very high level of abstraction about what success means. We do the mission statement, we do the values, which are really, really important, not to diminish those at all. But there's a huge gap between that high level aspiration and practical business decisions. And what we've seen happen is that when that gap is not closed, then the board or the management team either have to, ask you, what do you want as owners? By the way, I think that's the single best indicator that you have a good board, is that they ask the question of the owners, what do you want? Or the worst version of this is that they try to fill in the gaps for themselves. And so the work of owner strategy is basically to say, what is our purpose? But then how do we translate that into, how do we think about trade-offs? What do we want more of? What do we want less of? And then building that into guardrails, which are ways of actually measuring whether we're getting what we want. Those can be financial things like a maximum debt to equity ratio or a minimum return on investment threshold, or they could be non-financial things like their environmental footprint or employee loyalty or things like that. And actually going through the exercise of sort of saying, what do we want and how do we know if we're getting there, can be incredibly powerful for families.